Oh, man, it's so good to be with everybody the day after Christmas. Full house today in the studio. It's a little chilly here in Minnesota, but we are doing fabulous. I hope everyone else is doing well wherever you are watching this. Thanks for making the jump from the other video. Today was a history maker for us. We've never gone live on both channels. So let me introduce who we have today. We're going to start with our special guest. She's never been on the channel before. She is the mother of champions and warriors and future world changers. She drinks a lot of coffee to keep going, doesn't require much sleep, drives a vehicle she refers to the Moose. It is the one and only bride of my life, Holly Mendenhall.
Good morning. How is everybody?
How was that introduction for you?
Wow, that was intense.
Would you like me to start every morning like that for you? Like come and
Yes.
wake you up and be like, introducing to you on the left side of the bed, Holly Mendenhall, who doesn't need to brush her teeth or do her hair because she looks amazing and smells right every day of her life. Is that how you like me to do it?
Wow. That would require you to be up before I am.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. There's a reason you're on the left side of the bed. It's the closest to the door, so the children are
I
smart
can
enough
just-
not to go past you to come to me. They just
Yeah.
stop to you.
You always said we'd never have sides of the bed, and since we've had children, I've noticed you have your own side of the bed.
I have my side of the bed. This has turned into something interesting we had no idea we were going to
Can
discuss.
I just
but
say, it is so fun watching you guys and listening and the dynamics. I just love
Hi,
it.
Lily.
Hi, Lily. Welcome.
Guys, I'm here.
and Batman and
I'm
Joker.
here. Yes, if you didn't know, I'm just like the biggest DC Comics fan.
Jeez,
I
so
love the Justice League. It's superior to Marvel. All the haters,
Here's the truth to
get
this.
out of here.
Here's the truth to this. We talked about having, like, starting to make some theme things onto our desks as we're going to continue to do this style.
I got
where-
theme. I got.
And she showed up with nothing, and I
I
was
got
like,
my mug
no.
and I got my stickers. And if you want to learn about me, just look at what I'm putting on my stuff. Hello,
Fail.
coffee, alligator.
No, it's all I'm saying.
Vans,
Okay, nonetheless,
craft
let's
and
see.
ride.
Holly, what were we discussing there? Oh, sides of the
bed.
beds. Okay,
The
put it in
bed.
the
Oh
chat.
my God.
Put it in the chat if you have a side of the bed. Okay.
I got a side of the bed. It's the whole bed.
Okay, right. But Lily, what side of the bed do you get out of?
Well, my bed's up against the wall.
Okay.
Oh, so you only have one side.
No, but I got the whole bed.
Yeah, we get that. But what side of the bed do you get out of?
Just the one side.
What?
It would be kind of weird.
Would you
if
stop
I got up
answering
on
the question
other
with
side
just the
where
one?
The wall
I
is.
want to know: is that on the right hand side or left hand
When
side?
you're looking at the bed, it's on the left-hand side because the wall is on the right.
Okay.
And if I
great.
got up on the right-hand side, y'all should be concerned about me being able to walk through walls.
Okay,
Just
so
saying.
the question I have for please put in the chat: what side of the bed do you sleep on? I don't have a necessary side of the bed in per se that I need to be on this side of the bed. I look at every place that we've ever stayed at and go, how close am I to the door, to the children coming in and interrupting my sleep? I want to be the furthest away from that, and then I make my decision. That's how it's always been. So, yes, I have a side of the bed, but I don't have left or right. It is strategically placing myself that you are in between children coming in and robbing me of my sleep.
So they robbed me of mine.
Yeah, but you make it look so good.
I
This
always
is true.
thought that the man needed to be closer to the door because if some creep came in, he could be close and could save his lady. What do you think about that?
I knew someone would say that, and I agree with you.
Right,
But with
but-
my cat-like reflexes, I would pounce on them so fast they wouldn't even see it coming. So I understand. I have a jump on anyone that's coming in the room. Really, it's just I want them to think that they have the jump on me, which
I
they
don't know.
actually don't. Thank
I don't
you,
know,
Lily,
Scott.
for pointing that out.
I don't know. I know. When I sleep in hotels, I sleep the farthest away from the door. All that. Like I'm like I gotta be careful here.
Okay, so if you're brand new around to this channel, this is just a fun day after Christmas experience for all of you. We've gotten up early today. Lily and Holly have painted the barn, which means they put their makeup on. Thank you,
Did.
ladies. I mean, we already said Holly doesn't need to do that. She just wakes up like
That's
that.
not true.
Okay, but I do.
I mean,
That's not true either.
I
If
think
you-
you're digging
you-
yourself a hole there.
I never dig a
Scott
hole.
Mendenhall.
No, people follow you on Instagram. You've pointed out this week that
It
you
has
didn't
been
paint
a
the barn
fun
till
theme.
like 6
It
p.m.,
has
which is
been a fun little thing to talk about. Like that was just life this week, right, Holly? It
That's
just
right.
Was. She knows.
That's
She was right.
Just the week it was.
Just the week. Holly, your nose looks a little chilly. Is it
I
cold?
have never gotten to be in here before, and my hands are freezing.
So basically, our bodies have just adapted to how
Adapted.
cold. If you don't know, we live in Minnesota. It gets really cold here, and our heating in the studio is subpar.
Subpar.
It just doesn't exist, actually. So if you ever thought Minnesotans were like this, like, oh, bake you a hot dish, it's actually not that. We're actually really
what
tough.
kind of accent
We're
was
really.
that?
Yeah, what accent was it?
I'm also not from Minnesota, so my accent is not good. I don't
That
know.
wasn't even close
I just
to.
don't like when people think that Minnesotans are like these like tall Scandinavian like stays inside.
Remember when you said I was digging a hole?
stereotype.
At least I was against
yeah.
one individual. You're taking on a whole state.
No, I am saying that is not the stereotype is not true. We're actually like really tough. Like, you know why we're so tough? It's because every time the Vikings lose, our skin just gets thicker.
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
man,
You know?
you're-
Okay, here we go.
You don't like
For
okay.
laughs and giggles, what is one of the most popular saying from your state? Put that in the chat, because we know in our chat that we have people from all over the United States and England. We can see the demographics, and we have some people in South Africa, which is so cool to have, and a few people from Australia. So what are some of your known phrases for where you live? We'd love to hear the differences
Oofda.
of those, because Minnesota has their own, and they are really pretty funny. I think one of the first things I learned when we moved here was the way Minnesotans say yes and no. They say either yeah, no, or no, yeah. It's never just straight yes or no. And so you got to pay attention. Do they really want to do this? When they say yes, no, it means yes, but they're kind of thinking about it. When they say no, yeah, it's definitely a no, but they put the yeah to soften the no. You just got to be able to read through some of those things. Michaela, one of our great friends around here, she's the best at this. Every time you talk to her, it's like, no, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, yeah, no, yes, no, 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 yeah. And you're just trying to figure out where she's going. That's Joey's wife. She's great at those things. So hopefully you guys are throwing those things in the chat. Wherever you're watching today, if it's a watch party, or if you're an individual watching on your own, welcome. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We thought we'd make it a lot of fun. One, we have 8 children that have free reign to the house. Merry Christmas to them if you're
Wow.
watching.
I wonder
Don't-
what they're up to right
Don't
now.
color the walls. That's what we're saying. Okay, well, we have a lot of cool things going today. We were live on Christmas Eve here in Minnesota, and we speak of cold. We were outside for Christmas Eve, and it was spectacular. And we have some pictures loaded up that we want to just share to everybody what happened here locally.
Yes, it was so awesome.
As we're only online today, celebrating with our online family on Unlock Church. And so here's some pictures. If you didn't see it on social media or stuff, this is what your church did.
So fun.
So that's from, I don't know, a couple rows up, but we are outside. The sun's just setting in the background.
Everyone's bundled up.
Yeah, it wasn't too terrible. It was getting colder. But we could keep some of those pictures moving. I think we got, how many loaded up, Lil?
We got like 5, I think.
That's Lily. That's Grandma Lily right there reading the
Yeah,
Christmas story.
Grandma Lily. Ha 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 ha. No, I wasn't a grandma.
No, but you were
I was
sitting
just
in a
reading,
rocking
yes.
chair. Look at
There's
you
me.
over
I'm
there.
still in the rocking chair. Yeah.
So rocking chair equals grandma.
I'm introducing her. Well, it was set up to be like that
it
because
was so Christmassy. It was
yeah,
so
it was meant to be like
fun.
what grandmas do on Christmas Eve. Read the story. The band sounded spectacular.
Yes.
Back there rocking out all Christmas music.
We
It was
got a
it was
couple
so
more.
good. Thank you for everybody that was part of that. I think we got a couple more. And yep, there's us. We've got a video playing in the background, which was this great video that it just talked about the Christmas story and a kid asking questions. I think we got one more for you, and then we will.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
There you
awesome.
go. Well, it was. I think that was early on. You can tell with the sun setting and stuff in the service. It was so much fun. If you were here, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for everybody that has logged on every week and being a part of Unlocked Church's family here. We love being here where we get to talk about topics and have a lot of fun. And hopefully today you're sipping on your coffee, enjoying time with friends and family wherever you are. I'm trying to read the chat as well as we got Amanda Vernon in there. We just want to say good morning to a bunch of people. We got Jeff and Amy Beal in the chat as well. We got Zach Adams in there. We got Elizabeth Nichols all the way down in Mississippi today. We have Isabel. We have, who else we got sitting in here today? Dan and Jen, Javier. It's so good to see all these people. I'm sure there's more that I'm missing. If I miss anybody, ladies, let me know or let them know that we're wishing them a good morning. We want to give you a moment to reflect. We're going to talk about goals, but in a different way as we're warming up into a new year. And this is like starting to think about what are going to be your new year, not resolutions. Like, I have no problems with that. Like, so many people get offended by that. Like,
That you don't say resolution.
no, I hate New Year's resolutions because there's always this negative thing to it. It's great to make goals.
It is.
And so we're going to talk about that today. We're going to have a discussion on that, so prepare your mind. And as you do that, we got one of our favorite songs that we just want you to hum along with. Think about, your past year. Get yourself in that mindset of like, what am I looking forward to the new year? What are some of my new year goals? What do I want to be like a year from now? What do I want to have experienced? And some of that, hopefully you have some ideas in your relationship with God or on a journey of figuring out who God is, and hopefully we can help on this channel. We have Graves into Gardens, which is such a good song, isn't it, though?
It's a good song. It's a good song to hear about the truth that God speaks over us and over you, and also just a good moment to reflect on the past year and what's ahead.
Yep. Lil, can you sing the first line of this song for us real quick? Everybody would like to hear it.
I'm not much of a singer, but I'm pretty sure it's like, I searched the world.
And what's the next line?
Oh, I don't even know.
got it.
What?
I'm a karaoke singer. I
Well,
need
this
the
is the
words
great
in front
karaoke.
of me. I need
Well, you know what, Holly? It's a good thing that the words will be on the bottom of the screen for you to sing along with us as we play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saying good morning to Icon. She's in the chat. She says, hi, Lily. That's great. Why didn't you say hi to your
Good
mom,
morning,
though, first?
Icon.
Okay, nonetheless, here is Graves in the Garden. Let's see if Lily nailed it. Enjoy this, and we'll be right back.
And I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together. And every desire is now satisfied here in life. And oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing is better than you. And I'm not afraid.
Love that song. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it wherever you're watching. Today, wherever you're watching, maybe you're at a watch party in somebody's home later on in the afternoon this Sunday. We want you to take time to pause once in a while to answer the questions in the room and then hit unpause. But what we would love, and we are asking for any of you at a watch party, that you finish the whole service today online so you don't miss anything. And so pause when you need to have discussions. We'll try to turn it over to you to share stories and to have conversations there, and then come back and we will be able to finish the conversation and really enjoy as we turn our attention to the new year and what our hopes and expectations are. We don't want anybody to not have a moment to think through some of those things. But the first question I'm going to ask to the ladies in the room today, have you ever been caught cheating? Now, I need yes, and then we're going to want some context of this. And when we get the context, we need it to be somewhat short. We'll just start cutting you off if we feel like it's too long. And so, Holly, have you ever been caught cheating in your life? We know you're a good little girl, so maybe you haven't. And then we'll need Lily to come in, and we know she cheated. I'm sure she did. So how about you, Hal?
I did cheat on a spelling test when I was in 8th grade. Yeah, we still did spelling tests in 8th grade, but it was a practice test, so I didn't get in trouble.
What was the word you were looking for the help for?
You know, I can't even remember. It was the boys in front of me, that his name was Tim, so I was looking over his shoulder. It was completely obvious, so it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, no good. In 8th grade, you were doing it that obvious? Like, seriously, why don't you just tell the teacher, hey.
Well, maybe I wasn't even cheating. I was just being goofy or something. I don't know, but.
Oh, now we're changing the narrative. Oh,
Mr.
maybe I wasn't
said
cheating.
I was cheating.
What were you dropping a love note to this guy? I want to know. I want to tell me right now.
No.
How about you, Lil? Have you ever been caught cheating or cheated?
I cheated in a one-wheel race where we were on a bridge and I was terrified, and we were supposed to push a little tire with a garbage picker-upper, and I wasn't doing it. I was like, I'm picking up this tire and I'm moving because I want to be done. So I cheated on that and I got caught.
And it was documented on film.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we would love to see you write in the chat if you're live with us. Where are some of the moments that were comical where you got caught cheating? We'd love to hear your stories. This is a great spot for you to pause this in any place you are and ask each other, hey, tell me your best cheating story. But please keep it like PG. We don't get weird on. You could take this into a dangerous spot and the whole room goes, wow, this just became something other than that. I did get caught cheating. The biggest thing I can remember really, I think this is the only time outside of our fun one-wheel moments. I don't think I've ever cheated, actually. I'm going to go on record on any of our one-wheel videos and races. I get accused of it, but if you listen to all the rules, I play by them. Thoughts on that, Lil?
Disagree.
What? I need proof.
No, literally in the Christmas special yesterday, you're always the one go, like Joey's 3, I'm 2, you're 1 go, and you start to go before you say 1 in the second race on the Christmas story series that premiered yesterday. So if you missed that, go back and watch and see.
I would like you to
cheated.
Because they say this to me, I would like you to also examine said footage and see if my one wheel crosses the line. It doesn't. I start to move, but I never cross the line.
No chance.
You watch. Would you like to put some money on it?
No, I never want to put money on it, especially when you're sure. And then somehow you always talk yourself into the truth of what. Like,
this is like you watch the video and you will see it. You guys were already getting on me. I am behind the line nonetheless. Okay, my cheating story is not that one. In second grade, I know what kind of kid was I. In second grade, I blatantly cheated on a math test. I was just copying every answer, but as Holly was saying, I was doing it really obvious, and I was the kid whose desk was right in front of the teacher's desk because I was just I just always messed around. I know that's surprising, and I was literally doing this, like standing up and looking over the shoulder and write it down. And then I remember Miss Konecki was her name, and she was I don't know why I remember her name, but that's who she was. And she had the scariest look I've ever seen in my life when I turned around. And she's like, what are you doing? And my answer was, I don't know. Because that's the only answer you give. I did get a spanking for that. The principal gave me a spanking. Have you ever been spanked by a principal, Lil?
No. Are you serious?
Yeah.
First of all, look at this face. can't spank someone with
Painted
this
or
face.
unpainted?
Painted or unpainted. And second of all, I grew up in a time where corporal punishment in public schooling was illegal.
But it's still in places in the
in
United
where
States.
I lived,
Just-
yes, it's
okay,
still
yeah.
in some places it's legal, which is so crazy to think about. But where I lived, it was not legal.
Oh.
Now, sorry, I'm on one now. On the other hand, my coaches on my cheerleading team literally told me they had permission by my mom to spank me or to throw water bottles at me if I wouldn't do what they asked me to do.
And did they?
I got
either-
water bottles thrown at me a lot. Yes.
Do we have any water bottles in here, guys? I'd like to- no.
I have
just-
a coffee mug.
How about you, Holly? And also in the chat, please let us know if you've ever been, if you grew up in a time where you got a spanking from the principal. Right now, apparently I'm the only one. How about you, Hal?
You are totally the only one that has gotten this.
Well, hold on. I would like to widen our poll here, and not just the two ladies that are in here. I would like to just a wave of the hand to anyone at the tech table get a spanking from the principal. Yeah, we got a yes. We
a
got a
couple.
no.
There's a
And
couple.
Ryan, how about you? I can't see you. No, Jordan and I.
Shocking.
Jordan and I. If you can't hear, you
He
were
was
what?
homeschooled.
I was homeschooled.
I was gonna say that. He was
Oh, man,
homeschooled,
that's
and then
so
for a
good.
second
That's
I like
so
didn't
good.
remember. So
That's
I was
so
like,
I was not homeschooled. It was by a complete stranger, and he drilled holes in his wooden paddle so that it
Yikes.
would have better airflow. Bam! I'd like to say I only got one. More like once a week I got spankings, and then I would get another one at home, and they were all for various things. One time I got a spanking from being on the wrong playground. I snuck from the front playground to the back playground because that
such
was
a
much cooler,
troublemaker.
and I got a spanking for that one. Yep.
Okay,
So
how
I
did we get here?
We
on
just
this
did.
topic?
So hopefully you're unpaused at this point. You're back with us, and you shared your
Unbeknownst
cheating
to me.
stories. We're talking about choosing to cheat. So let me ask this question, and again, you can pause, or we'd love to see you in the chat. Is there ever a good time to choose to cheat? Is there ever a right time to choose? Like, I'm consciously making the decision to cheat. Is there an acceptable place in our lives to do that? How about you, Hal? Do you think that, like, I know you know where we're headed, so you can't give it away, but, like, what do you think?
If it's okay to cheat. Ooh, gosh. Well, I often think of cheating as like doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So, in that context, no, you got to do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Okay. How about you, Lil?
Yeah, I feel like the same. Like even like putting the words together, choose and cheat. I feel like it just isn't right, and like the heart to do right in me is like cringing because how can that be the right thing
It
to
does
do?
sound, I don't know what's the right phrase, but it does sound interesting when you go, you got to choose to cheat or choosing to cheat, because really that's the topic today. Choosing to cheat in the new year. We're going to ask you to cheat on something in the new year. And it's an interesting way to view, but it might help so many of us make different goals or resolutions in the new year that we actually accomplish because we're choosing to cheat instead of choosing to accomplish a bunch of things, which is very interesting. So choosing to cheat is the topic. I would love to. I wish I was in a lot of these places today with you guys that would maybe potentially choose to cheat, or you think it's cool to choose to cheat. And this is going to ruffle so many feathers, I'm sure of it. But I do got to point out that Elizabeth says, I got a paddling. And right there, the way
she says it.
yeah, that's I feel like that's how you say it to make it a little bit softer, because
Yeah.
it sounds like I got a spanking, or I got Jeff Buell in here goes, you got whipped, or that sounds so harsh, but nonetheless,
You got
I got
the
a
principal
paddling
whip.
for telling a girl to be quiet. Whew, hostile environment where you grew up. Okay. So choosing to cheat is the idea. What is it? Is it ever okay to choose to cheat? We all kind of admitted to we cheated and got in trouble. That's why there's such a negative vibe to choosing to cheat, is the negative, the connotations that it creates.
Yeah.
And so in this idea, we have a great video to kind of paint the picture of what Western culture, and I just think it's the nowadays we live in culture, wherever you are, South Africa, Australia, that it's painted us to start thinking in a direction that not necessarily is going to produce the results in our life that we are after. So check out this video as it really paints a good picture, and then we're going to really break this down in a few moments. Enjoy this right here.
You and I might spend about 70 to 80 years on this earth. Not long when you consider the timeline of eternity. Have you ever wondered what life is all about? Every day we get bombarded with the message to pursue the things of this world. Make money, get stuff, be comfortable, live well. More, and me. That's the prevailing message of our day. Our generation has a hijacked version of the American dream. But as Christians, we know deep down this distorted view of life isn't real life. We read what the Bible teaches and we see how Jesus lived. Every day we face a choice: to pursue the me mindset of the American dream, or to pursue Christ. What if this generation was willing to trade in the pursuit of the American dream for a world that desperately needs Christ? To be traders. A trader is a new kind of missionary, not defined by geography. Where you live doesn't make you a missionary. The mission you're on makes you a missionary. Being a trader is a movement that requires us to live out our faith, not just talk about it. As a trader, we must choose daily to sacrifice and be intentional with our time, money, and skills. We can be like the Good Samaritan in the parable. When we're on the road of life and see someone in need, we choose to help. We follow Jesus' instructions to go and do likewise. A trader must hate injustice and find specific ways to bring the hope found in Jesus to desperate situations. It's easy to identify what you hate. What makes your heart break and your fists clench? A trader sees work as worship. Everything you do in life, including your job, can be an opportunity to worship the God who created you. Because God is glorified when we use our God-given passions and skills with excellence. And finally, a trader must act swiftly because the time is right now. The result of all this would be a generation of traders who are making choices with their time, money, and passions that are kingdom-focused and not self-focused, so that our short time here can have an eternal impact.
Will you be a trader? I love the question it leads there. And I love that in the chat, like Elizabeth's trying to go, okay, well, hold on, how are you defining it? She wants to know, like, okay, if there's no dishonesty or loyalty in the thing you're doing, it's probably not called cheating now. It's probably more taking a shortcut, which is fair, a fair suggestion at looking at it. So maybe we should look up what the word cheating means so that we all are on the same page of this. Maybe we should have a working definition of what cheating is. Maybe you're in a group setting, or you want to put your thoughts of what, as we discuss this, what you think we're talking about when we're talking about choosing to cheat. So I think Lily would probably maybe working on the definition of you. She's got the word cheating. Would you read it for all of us aloud?
You want all the definitions, or the one that I think applies to where we're going?
Well, let's start with the one you think applies to everyone.
Okay, to avoid something undesirable by luck or skill. Or, I'm going to add something here, choice.
So read it one more time.
To avoid something undesirable by luck or skill.
To avoid
or
something.
Choice.
By choice. So it's a choosing to avoid something. Now, interesting. It's not as negative as one would think. So does that mean our actions actually make cheating negative? Holly, what are your thoughts?
Do our actions actually make cheating negative? Yes.
Yes. You just simply saying yes with no other information to it. It's
well,
just
I was
yes.
trying to read this comment, so I got a little bit distracted on. But I think if the actual action then creates the cheater. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I think.
She tried.
She tried. Yeah.
I'm tracking with you, Hall.
Okay, then break it down.
She's saying that the action itself, depending on what it is, will make you a cheater. Now, Elizabeth is saying in the chat, does it involve dishonesty or deceitfulness? Those are actions, right, Holly? Am I getting somewhere?
Yeah.
But if I chose to cheat or to avoid something undesirable, that's also an action. Right, Holly?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Now, and I look past the camera, I'm looking at Holly.
Because
I just got a direct view of this beautiful barn.
Wow.
You just referred to my wife
You
as a barn
said
door?
you had to paint it.
That's
What's
what
the
that's what
difference?
she says. I don't
Hey,
know.
I just want everybody to know that I said that. It's okay for me to say that. Like, you don't all need to keep doing that.
It has
What?
become a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It's a real
around here.
thing.
Okay. So choosing to cheat is a choice, and a choice to avoid something undesirable by luck or skill. Like, we're gonna put the word
Ooh.
undesirable in there.
Undesirable. I'm so sorry to interrupt. We got a couple great
You-
pieces of input in the chat here. Isabel says, she's giving a story here, which I love. So check that out. But also someone else, John S. Pokestop. Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. He says, I think it's intent, which is if you have an intent behind the cheating. Now, it's so weird to even say, because if I had an intent to cheat on a significant other, that's not right. But intent to cheat on something that's not good for me.
Yeah, and if you're watching wherever you are, jump in the chat. This is going to be a great conversation because I think it's going to help us in the new year. In this channel, we will always want to take moments to really always come back to what does Jesus have to say on the said topic, or what do the authors in the Bible allude to at different spots. So we're going to use those as the foundation, but we're going to get there by starting out where the world or culture says cheating is, and then try to get there and help us in the new year. And so we're using the dictionary to define cheating right now as avoiding something undesirable by luck or skill. So I like, some people are saying it's intention. It's a bit of the heart will determine if that cheating is actually bad. That's true, but I do know that the authors in the Bible talk about the heart. It is deceitful. Like even we don't sometimes know the motives of our heart. So that sometimes can be dangerous because we might be thinking, no, my intentions is good, but it's from our perspective, our vantage point, which we are tricking ourselves into thinking it is. So that's a different kind of spot to be in, like, what's my heart? I wrote this after that definition. I wrote this in my notes right here. So we cheat. We give up certain opportunities for the sake of others. We invest in some relationships while neglecting others. We allocate our time the best we can, knowing all the while that somebody's going to feel cheated. Unfortunately, that somebody is usually someone we care a great deal about. So now we're shifting from cheating, let's say, in a one-wheel race or in a game of Monopoly, and I don't think you can ever cheat in Monopoly. You can steal for sure. That's a whole nother topic. But cheating in Monopoly is very, like, man, you can make all kinds of deals you want with people. People get offended by those deals, and they're going to say that's cheat. But it's like, no, there's no written rule that I can't make a deal with somebody. Like, look, I don't have to pay you any money ever, and they need to read all fine prints in the contract of every deal on Monopoly. At least that's how I play. It's not cheating. But we're now shifting from cheating in those kind of things to talking about, hold on, in life, you're cheating somebody. In all, let's say for those that have kids, I mean, you're cheating either on your job or your family by, oh no, I'm going to stay late at my job and take care of this, and cutting into the time with your family. Now you're cheating. You're avoiding something, good or bad, by luck or skill, to get just another hour in work, or another hour at home with a family, or a single person. Oh, I'm single, so I can spend all these hours on my job and not take care of my body physically. I'm going to put all this time. So we're cheating all the time. We just would never define it this way. We would never look at the way we run our lives by, I'm cheating on myself or my kids or things of that nature in the aspect of my job. It's a good thing. I'm making more money when I do this. But you are robbing, you are taking something from someone, sometimes unintentionally. It's not an intentional thought. It's just, that's the way it goes. I feel this pressure from my boss to put more hours in, and then I miss dinner, so I don't actually get to eat dinner with my family because I'm cheating on my family with work. And if that's going to naturally already happen, then we need to make conscious choices on where and what we're going to choose to cheat on. So, going into the new year, my question to you is, what will you choose to cheat on? And it sounds so interesting, even as I keep saying that. It's like, wait, what? What are you going to choose to cheat on? Now, don't get ahead of me, right? We're gonna get there. I got a question for Lil. Lily, will you? Now I'm gonna take a story to illustrate my point here. But Lil, in the idea of what we were just talking about, choosing to cheat, work asks you to do something which you work with us, or somebody takes a lot of time from you. We're going to use this story. Okay, so some of you are going to have to use an imagination. Some of you are going to see it play out. Okay, so there's a story I once read, Lil, where it was a guy that came to one of his friends and said, hey, are you busy? Lily, are you busy right now?
I'm busy, yeah.
But can you help me out?
Yeah, I can help you out.
Okay, great. Thank you for playing along.
Okay.
I need you to hold the sledgehammer and
Are you for real? You want
Yeah,
me-
yeah.
Okay.
I need you to hold the sledgehammer and the kettlebell.
Pick it up right now?
Yeah, but once you pick it up, you can't set it down. Okay, you got to hold on to it. Go ahead. You got to hold on to it. All right? And then I'm going to let you know when you don't have to hold on to it. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to want to hold on to the kettlebell very long because it is cold. Isn't it?
I use my sweatshirt.
Yeah, we'll see how long
Hold the
that.
metal.
Okay, so you hold that. You can't move. You got to stay right there.
Oh, okay.
You can't move. You got to stay there.
My left hand is cold.
Yeah, you're holding a sledgehammer in one hand. I mean, you're a CrossFit athlete, so you're all good. Okay? But I need you to stand there until I come and relieve you.
Okay.
Deal?
Where are you going?
You got to just trust me on some of those things, okay?
Okay.
All right. As we have her do that, I think we have another a song that we just want to give a second, as Lily's going to hold that during this song for us. It's a bit of a slower song, but again, it's reflection. Even in that question, what are you going to choose to cheat on this new year? And some of you already know where we're going to go, but what are you going to choose to cheat on? Your family or your friends or yourself or your job or your dream? What are you choosing to cheat on that are going to actually help you accomplish the things that you really should be doing? That's the question of the day. Lily's going to stand there. We'll be right back. Enjoy this song to just reflect on that thought. Here you go.
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice, take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ears. Oh, oh, sweet, sweet sound. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice, take joy, my King, in what you hear, and let it be a sweet, sweet sound. Let it be a sweet, oh sweet. Let this be a sweet, sweet sound in your ears. Come on, where you are, lift up a sweet sound. Come on. Oh God, oh God, oh sweet, sweet sound. Oh, be glorified, Father.
So the story that we were beginning to tell you, and Lily's illustrating so well here, it was a friend asking someone to hold a rock, just a silly little rock, and said, hold it until I get back. You can't let it fall. If you let it fall, I'll be in a lot of trouble. So that's how the story goes. And as the story continues, 1 hour goes by, and he doesn't come back. And at this point, the rock's starting to get heavy, and it's only been 1 hour, and the individual in the story starts to explain that it's starting to hurt, and they are like, the favor they had for their friend, and yeah, I'll hold a dumb rock for you, is starting to wane. Another hour goes by, and it goes, it talks about every time they move, their arm hurts, they're starting to have aches and pains. We're talking about hours here. But they agree to continue to do what they were asked to do. And the friend comes by and checks in, hey, are you still good to hold my rock? And the answer was, well, yeah, okay, I can. It's been a couple hours, but I'm sore. I don't know how much longer I can do this. You got to be quick at what you're doing. Well, that song was like 3 minutes long, and Lily, as she's still standing here, we should have had the microphones going as we can get to the wide shot again. If we could have had the mics on when she was during the song, she's like, my forearms are starting to hurt. Look, she's trying to adjust. Because she knows if she drops it, it's over, and her CrossFitness would be in question.
The kettlebells, I'm struggling with this one.
Is it because it's cold?
Holding it down here, my forearm is killing me. So I would rather even.
So
be
just start
overhead.
working out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just keep moving. You just can't put it down. That's the deal. You can't put it down, and you could hear her frustration.
Can I rest it on my shoulder? Probably not, right?
No, you're to hold it. That's resting it.
Okay, it's not resting.
Okay, please don't.
It's full-fledged workout.
Yeah, are you glad, Holly? This is not you.
Sure. Good job, Lil. You're doing great.
Holly, your nose, so cute.
I know.
It's so bad that you guys keep pointing out her nose.
I like it.
No, everybody watching goes,
I'm struggling.
Don't drop the kettlebell. Everyone at home, it's only a 20-pound kettlebell, which Ginny Adams at one point gave me a hard time for that I have 20-pound kettlebells.
Those are
Look at
fine.
me. But look at me. Do you think I can lift more than a 20-pound kettlebell? Are you kidding? Okay, I've never lifted heavier, so I don't know. Okay, so as the story goes, the sun begins to set. Your muscles are screaming at this point, but it's only been probably 5 minutes. But you refuse to give in. You're committed to holding up your part of the bargain. Besides, your friend said he would make it up to you. You're sure what that means, but you're not sure what that means, but it must be something good. 30 minutes later, a car pulls up in the driveway, but someone you don't know is driving. This person walks over and says, almost in a whisper, informs you that your friend has been delayed yet again. Would you mind holding the rock for just a little bit longer, he asks. The expression on your face, Lily, you're actually going to hold this to the end of service today. Okay?
Okay. I'm about to.
You can't drop it.
I'm gonna.
No, you can't. One, if you drop it on this, you'll break it.
I have to set it down.
No, you can't.
I have to choose to cheat.
No, this is not a choosing to cheat moment. Away the person goes. And there you are standing on a stage, or in this story, in the dark. The streets are empty. The neighbors are huddling at their windows watching you stand there wondering, why would you not just put it down? And why would a friend treat you like this? Lily's going into her favorite place, eyes closed. This is
Gotta
so
get
good.
zenned out.
Another hour goes by. Now look, this is seconds, but these are hours holding a rock. Goes by. You begin to lose your grip. Your arms begin to fall. You tell yourself to hold on, but your body just won't respond. Down goes the rock, and just as it hits the pavement,
I can put it down?
the rock disintegrates into hundreds of pieces. No. And your friend pulls up into the driveway. He jumps out of the car, runs over with a look of panic on his face and asks, what happened? Did it slip? Did somebody knock it out of your hands? Did you change your mind? And as he looks for it, and then as you look for an explanation of why you couldn't make it for the whole entire service, is as you wonder why you suddenly, or explain why you suddenly dropped the rock, you know that it was a long time coming. And I wrote like this, you really want to put it down, right?
I'm actually doing okay now.
Now all of a sudden you're okay. I wrote it like this, after a story of like that, or the pain that is feeling, when work and family collide, it's about establishing priorities. It's the collision of the priorities, the conflicts of which you feel. with the illustration of the rock, holding on a rock. I'm holding a rock. This is my job. This is my job. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, this is taking longer. It's costing more than I thought. I didn't think it would be so painful. I didn't think it would take so much time. I thought it was going to be short endeavor. And all of a sudden, I can't get the other things done and start panicking set in because you got a list of things to do, but you're holding on to a dumb rock. And all of a sudden, you feel this tension and you feel all this heartache and you feel this frustration that you can't explain. You just are just done. And you just want to do what the individual in that story did and what Lily really wants to do at different points. They just let it go. And that's where we get when we don't choose to set priorities up when it comes to things in our lives, working out and reading and becoming a better individual, or for our workplaces, and work gets the majority of our time, and then we see ourselves frustrated. And eventually what happens, for so many of us that don't set up priorities in choosing to cheat, we end up just walking away from those things that provide income, and we're like, in a normal state of mind, we would never quit like that. We'd never let the rock go. But because of the way we felt, and there wasn't, especially in this story, there's not an explanation enough why you're holding on to that. Lily, there's no other reason. You can set that down. There's no real reason for you to hold on to that.
Both down?
Yeah, I just wanted to see how long you can go without
Good
complaining.
job, Lily.
I told myself I was going to wait till you said I could set it down. My hands are frozen.
Great job, Lily.
Thanks.
For me, it was a test of how long would it go until you started kind of complaining about it.
I complained.
Yep, that was under 60 seconds.
No.
Yes.
No.
60 seconds.
63.
I have the timer right here. Would you like me
My
to show
hands
it to you?
are so cold.
See it? 60 seconds. No, there's no timer.
Oh my gosh. I understand the concept though of the illustration. That was
So
good.
the question is like the illustration of the things Lily's holding on to are anything that has nothing to do with your priorities, but you find yourself holding on to them. It's like, why am I doing that? It's time to say no to those things. Things that you actually don't know why you're doing them in your life. You've just always done them. It's time to cheat on those things. It's time to say, I'm going to avoid those things for something better. I'm not cheating and being deceiving. I'm cheating to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And sometimes it's for just a season. There are things that Holly and I, as parents of 8, we have to say no for right now, but not forever. Like, this is a true, real deal, like, live conversation Holly and I are having. Somebody has offered us a trip to Israel. A trip of a lifetime, right, babe?
Yes, absolutely. Trip of a lifetime.
And were you stoked when they were offering it to us?
Oh, my word. We've talked about going for years.
And so we have had these conversations about, oh, yeah, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be great. We were using our bobbleheads, okay, yes, no. We were, doing all the, no, we didn't. That was not how we were making decisions. But we were just talking about, okay, pros and cons of it. And then we really got down to, okay, in our given scenario today, is this a wise thing for us to do? It's on the bucket list for sure to go, but is this a wise thing to do? If we go with 8 kids and we're leaving 8 kids with potentially friends or family, how do we feel about that? Is this a wise thing to do with the ages of our kids? We have a wide range. We have a 13-year-old and we have a 2-year-old. Does this make sense for us both to go to a very far-off country? There, with the way the world's going, it's very unpredictable. It could be a longer trip than expected. We could get held up. We could have to quarantine depending on rules changing and things of that nature while you're there. And we're just like, is this the wise thing to do? And we really wrestled with it, and we had to come down to, for us, not everybody else, we had to say it's a no for right now because of things that were unique to us in the goals and priorities we have as a family. It's like, this isn't something that it was like, all right, Holly, you go by yourself, or Scott, you go by yourself. We want to do it together. And it was a no for right now. Tough no. But in light of today's topic, we were choosing to cheat on a trip. We're going to avoid the trip for right now, not forever, so that we can continue to be the parents we want to be today. Because let's play it. And I go, we could play it the other way. Well, if it all goes smooth, it's great. But if by the off chance it doesn't go the way we thought it was going to go, this trip could be very different for our children, whereas we are having a trip of a lifetime and we get held up. It'd be a little stressful on us trying to sort out who can watch kids a couple more extra days and things because it is 8 kids. We would have all of a sudden stress, and our kids would go, remember that one time you went to Israel and it was miserable for us. We didn't see you for X amount of days, and then go, we were scared. And all. It's like, okay, we can avoid all of those. When they move out, that whole tension right there is eliminated. because as they move out, they're grown adults. They got their own thing. And now all of a sudden the things that are on question for us are gone. And so choosing to cheat always allows you, or sometimes allows you, to push things off into the future that makes the tension disappear. Did I say that right, Hal?
Yeah, I think totally. It just makes us just evaluate what's happening for like right now, and it's maybe even unforeseen things that we're trying to anticipate for our kids at the moment. And so, hopefully someday in the future that will come back and be able to have that opportunity. But for right now, we both feel pretty confident of saying yes to where our kids are at right now and no to the trip. And, that's a great example of what to cheat on that and then be 100% for our kids at the moment.
And so many emotions came in that for us, in that, man, will we ever get a all-included free trip? It was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to say no to that? And there was a ton of tension in it for us. We're saying it very unemotional here, but there was. I love what Jennifer Woodham writes in here, and if you want a book to read on this topic, it sounds like it's a good one. I've never read it, but Jen goes, I'm a big believer in healthy boundaries. There's a book called The Best Yes that talks about boundaries and priorities. Not every good thing is the best thing. That's so good. And she talks about priorities, and that's the next line in my notes. A priority is something that you put ahead of something else. A priority is something that you say yes to, even when it means saying no to other important things. Everybody cheats like this. It's a principle. It's a principle already at work in your life, one way or another. Principles are actually, really, if you want to be successful at your goals, you start with principles in your life. What are the founding principles in your life? And for Holly and I to make this decision we were talking about is we have principles when it comes to raising our children. Not principles that spank, not school principles, but principles, a thought process. The way we view parenting are our principles that we have, and then we make our goals from there. Goals don't make principles. You have to have principles first, and then the goals. So wherever you are, if you're with just your spouse or a friend, what are your priorities? Or maybe you don't have any and you're like, I don't know, I've never thought of it like this. One way to help you make better goals and accomplish this, what are priorities in your life right now? And if you have none, that's okay. It's time to start making priorities. Holly and I, it is our kids. Like, we're not... When I say that, it could be like, oh, so your schedule is dictated around our children. No, our kids, in the way of how we're going to raise them, and we have a short and a limited amount of time with our kids, so we're going to invest and pour into them constantly and make decisions that are going to allow us to do that better and to have better moments of parenting around us. And so we're always that principle of parenting. We often say like this: parenting for later and not for now. Meaning we're always saying whatever behavior our kids are doing today, is this acceptable when they are 18 and an adult? Is just them being a 2-year-old, and that's okay? It's just them being a 2-year-old, right? Like. Revolution, he's our 2-year-old. He had no nap yesterday on Christmas, and he lost his brains at about 3:30, and nothing could make the dude happy. He was frustrated with the pajama pants that he had on all day. All of a sudden, he's like, I don't like them. I want them off. And he just lost his brain. Well, I don't need a parent in that, like, and tell him, oh, that's a bad negative attitude. No, he's being a 2-year-old without a nap. Put him to bed. But if my 13-year-old is doing that, no, I'm going to parent that. I'm going to know that's an attitude problem. If you behave like that as an 18-year-old, you're going to get fired. You're going to get broken up with. So we parent in those. So the principle for us to always filter with parenting is parent for the end in mind. As an adult, is this acceptable behavior? And that's a principle. It drives goals. It drives us to give them opportunities to teach them. Like allowing them to drive our Polaris Ranger it's a principle. What are we doing? We're helping them become a better driver. Being able to drive on our property will make them what we're parenting for when they're 16-year-old, and now we're not looking at, well, they're 6 years old, they shouldn't be well, no, they can. We have the ability to give them something to drive. It's a principle. What are the principles driving your goals? Pause this if you want in your places and have that conversation, or write in the chat some of your priorities as I say that. Lily, maybe you don't have any priorities. Maybe you do. What is one of those priorities that stands out in your own personal mind that helps you drive decisions?
Well, a priority that I have set for myself is to follow Jesus' principles. So, loving others, being kind to others, everything that he challenges and commands us to be in his word are my driving principles. So, then when I set goals like being consistent in certain areas, like one of them is specifically my gym, I want to be consistent there because it allows me to build and develop relationships where I can love and be kind and use those Jesus principles. So, I have a lot to work on. I have goals that I want to set, but I just put in the chat, having principles first gives us a lens to look through when setting goals. If we just aimlessly try to set goals, I think that's the issue with the resolutions. We have all these resolutions we want to hit, but there's no principles driving them. I think then we don't hit them, we don't accomplish them, then we get discouraged and it's like, what's the point? So I think that's a really good point to have the principles first.
Again, our hopes is to help you set up a great conversation for yourself or who you're doing life with to help you accomplish your goals. Matt Vernon in the chat writes, speaking of books, he talked about Andy Stanley has a book called Choosing to Cheat. That's really where this idea came from. I read that book so many years ago, and it was like so good because I find myself staying longer in the office thinking I'm doing a great job getting my job done, but I've unintentionally cheated on my family. I've avoided them, but not on purpose, by staying in the office too long. And then all of a sudden, I feel this guiltiness of like, crap, I didn't spend the evening with my kids. I was taking care of emails, or I was on this phone call and I was doing this. So it's choosing to cheat on the right thing so you don't get this guiltiness that it really makes you feel horrible on two ways. Like I'm at my job. I feel guilty for being there at my job too late. I'm not spending time. I'm missing dinner with my family, so I feel guilty. Then I get home, and I'm at home, and I'm trying to spend time with my kids, and now I'm feeling guilty because, oh, man, I didn't get this done at work, and now at home I'm thinking about work, and now I'm cheating on my kids again mentally or my family because I'm thinking about work-related things. And it's setting those priorities of what are the priorities you're going to set the goals. Priorities actually can fall in line. Like my family is priority. It trumps a lot of things. It trumps experiences. It really does. It's a lens I see life through at the moment, for this moment. Because I know I have a short amount of time with my 8 kids, and I want to spend as much time as I can, and Holly and I do. I shouldn't just speak for myself. But a priority is something you put ahead of something else. And here's the truth, is that these priorities you might not have set in your own life, but you'll see them. You'll see priorities taking place that you've never intentionally made. They're just at work. And so why would I not want to choose those? Think about a priority that Chick-fil-A has. What is one of the first things you think of Chick-fil-A in their priorities? What would that be?
Closed on Sunday.
Yeah. Lily, can you sing the song from Kanye West?
Close on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A.
Good job, Lily.
I was impressed.
You're like on
what we were gonna
point
get.
today with the songs.
I love my music. What can I say? Kanye West and worship.
I wrote this: when we choose to do something in accordance with God's priorities for your life, it's an invitation for him to bless you in a way you never dared to imagine. Or you started to imagine. Like when we start to shift our priorities into godly priorities, you'll see that God begins to bless in certain areas. Like, my priority is to know God better, to be in a better relationship with God. Well, if that's a real, genuine priority and not a goal, you're going to begin to read books. You're going to set aside time to get quiet time with God, reading the Bible and praying. I would love to hear what are some of your spiritual priorities that you have that you can put in the chat or discuss where you're watching today. Yeah. What are your spiritual priorities so that other people can go, that's a good one. We had some friends over, I think it was last Sunday, and one of them goes, hey, I just want to hear some of your goals because I need some help with that. I need help with my goal setting. And it's like, yeah, we do. Sometimes we take other people's goals, but how about with priorities? Even better. On this, what are some of the priorities in your life that somebody can go, I never even thought about making that a priority in the new year? And then make the goal from the priority. I'm telling you, make the priority first, set the supporting goals to it, and you will find yourself accomplishing your goals way more efficient. While you have this conversation, or you just want time to just have peace in your own life on it, we got another great song for you to just listen to and think as we begin to land the plane and the time with you today. And I hope this is going to be a productive time for you, thinking about your priorities to goals. Listen to this song, and then we'll be right back.
You are here. You're moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. You're working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here. You're touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. You're healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. You're turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. You're mending every heart. I worship you. Oh, I worship you. 'Cause you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 That is who you are.
I don't know if that song is getting you amped, but it's getting us amped in here. It might be because we're so cold that we want to be jumping up and down. I love songs that give you truth about God, and that's one of those songs that's who you are. Like it's giving qualities and characteristics of God. It should get you amped. If you're brand new to even the conversation of a God being in your goals in the new year, that's cool. That's great. We give you permission to be on a journey. If you're a first-time guest today, man, come back every Sunday at 8:15. We're always here having these kind of conversations, and we enjoy these conversations. I had wrote in my notes about principles that they are a very powerful thing. That's the thing you got to understand. You have principles that are in your life. You probably just aren't aware of those, but those are the things that are pushing you to make decisions in your life. And if we're not aware of them, I wrote it like this, okay. In the same way as gravity affects everything around the earth, a principle influences everything in your personal universe. Whether you're aware of the principle or not, it still applies. You can ignore it or you can leverage it. But either way, it goes right on and affecting your world. You can break a rule, but not a principle. In fact, by failing to observe a principle, you can break yourself against it. That's how strong a principle is. I'll tell you, like, a lot of people, if you don't know this about me, I don't always share it, like, especially in social media or whatever, but I love fitness. I'm not in the fitness realm of Lily. Lily likes to lift heavy things, and she's great at it. I want to move my body weight, and that's it, but I like fitness in, like, how far can I run? How many miles can I put in what's my capability in that realm, and it has been since 27 years old. A principle had developed in my life was unlocking my God-given greatness in my life, in my physical body, in can I get in shape, can I fuel it right to do some of those things that are so unthinkable and so out there. It was like what drove me last year to attempt to do 100 miles in one day as fast as I could. Well, I got COVID and that didn't happen. I did all the training and then got to halfway there, and then I got sick and trying to recover on my athletic side to attempt again to do it. And that's what got me up early, said no to other things that I loved to do. Like all summer, I loved to fish, and I didn't fish. I fished 3 times last summer, which is really crazy for me to say. I didn't one wheel except for when we filmed videos. I began to shift my schedule around and had no problems doing it because of the principle of fitness in my life. Drove me to a goal of 100 miles because the goal matched my fitness principle, was to unlock my God-given greatness, to push my body to its limit and then see if I can get past it. So I'm always going to constantly push and push my body, not till it breaks, but that I might experience what God's created my body to be able to do to unlock my God-given greatness. And then I've also seen that just, it pours into every area. But that's why I can, with somewhat of ease, wake up and put in all the miles and not grumble and complain and not feel like somebody's making me do it. I just do it because it's a principle that feeds the goal. The principle feeds the goal. What are the principles in your life that you need to say, okay, I was unaware of that principle, and that's why I keep doing that? It could be a principle of, I think I can eat unhealthy because I'm not overweight right now, or I think I can eat unhealthy because I whatever it is, but that's what keeps you eating unhealthy, is because the principle of that. So it's examining your principles. Holly, do you have any thoughts on that when we talk about principles in our lives? Can you give us one of the principles that drives you in your decision making?
Well, I want to always I was just writing one of the goals, and like one of the things we talk about our kids is wanting them to grow up knowing that our relationships with them were intentional. And if you didn't know this about me, I'm a very task-driven person. I like to check things off my list. I like to get things done. And I want to be able to use my time. We were just talking about that in the chat. I want to use my time to be able to be intentional in those relationships with my kids, not just check the boxes off during my day of what needs to get done, but actually be pouring into my kids that they grow up and they know that I took the time to go sledding with them. I haven't been sledding with them this year, so doing those things of using that time to pour into their life, and not just keeping the house clean or having them do some different tasks or stuff, but actually have the intention of a relationship of doing those things together.
But even as Holly says that, if it's just I'm going to shift things around because I feel guilty again, and not changing a priority, you'll always give back into what naturally was easy. It's the gravity that pulls you back. And so without changing the priority or the principle, without changing the principle, you will go back to the default principle in your life. So that's why so many of you are not accomplishing the goals you set out in New Year's resolutions, is you've made goals without changing principles in your life. Even in spiritual stuff. Change the principle, goals will follow. Change the goal without changing the principle, and you will default back to the original principles that still stand. Lily, how about you? When you hear this, choosing to cheat and setting principles, what are some of your closing thoughts here?
I would say that I've got a lot of different goals in all areas of my life, but the principles are the same. And like I spoke of earlier, to have those Jesus principles, loving others, being kind, serving people, it's been fun to see where those don't leak into certain areas of my life. I know I keep coming back to the gym, and that's a huge part of where I get to be around people who are different than me. They're living different lives than me. They're on a different path than I am. And I often get so selfish in that environment because I love going to the gym. I love working out. And sometimes I go and I'm like only there for me. And then I have to remember, wait, I'm here to serve people. I'm here to talk with people, and God will always intersect an opportunity with me. I come into the office almost weekly saying, I had this great conversation with someone. Here's why I'm 30 minutes late, because I got to talk to someone today about Jesus. And having that principle always before me reminds me that that's the priority and not myself. And I think God is a loving God, and he gives us opportunities to do things we love. But inside of that, in what we love, there's always a greater mission there. And so I encourage you and I challenge you to lean into those opportunities, that the things that you love. And if they don't line up, if they don't match, well, I would ask, is that something that God is asking you to continue this year, or should we choose to cheat and continue on a path that makes sense, that adds up to those principles and adds up to our goals as well?
And I think with Lily's landing the plane quite well for us there, we really want to come back and focus on godly principles in your life that will make sure that you are headed in the right direction. Because when we have godly principles, you will find God at work in those areas the most. Like when Lily's telling her story about her gym and stuff, there are seasons where somebody's come in and paid for your gym membership, right,
Oh my
Lil?
gosh, yes. That has been like when last year around Christmas time, someone paid for like 2 months of my membership, which to me, great gift, but that's God at work blessing what I'm putting my hands and feet in, that I'm going to, that I'm investing time and energy into. I believe that God will show up and show off in the areas where we're being obedient. I'll never forget in high school, one of my mentors asked me if God was blessing what I was going after, what relationships I was in, and anything I felt like he wasn't involved in, I put a big question mark there, because it was like, okay, God, I want to be behind everything you want me to be behind, not what I want to be behind. And someone paying for my monthly membership certain months of the year, that shows me God wants me there. He's blessing me because I love it, but he's also giving me an opportunity to be a light in the darkness. And so go where his blessing is. It's worth it every time.
Yeah, I think that's an easy one to hear, hard to recognize. But like so many times we're trying to move God in our direction. God, bless what I'm doing. Like what I'm putting my hands to, bless it. It's good. God is good. And it's like, God's like, no. See, actually, I know better than what you know. How about you move to where I'm already blessing, what I'm already doing, go there. And so in your own life, look at it. Are your friendships being blessed? Like, are you around good people? So, okay, now I know that is where God's already kind of moving. Then that's where I'm going to, if you're loving the community at Unlock Church and going, man, that community, God is blessing me with great friends, great godly wisdom, then make better connections with them. If you call Unlock Church in Maple Grove home, or you call Unlock Church on the digital side home, invest more. Follow those people on Instagram. DM them. Facebook them. However you connect social media-wise, connect. And find yourself where God's already blessing. And the best story I can think that rounds this all out, and I'm just going to tell it to you, but you can look it up in Daniel chapter 1, and the story starts on verse 1 and goes for a long ways. It's really Daniel and a bunch of Jewish guys were taken prisoner from that present-day king, and they were brought into the palace, and they were going to be trained to be Babylonians in how to speak and how to eat and all these things. And Daniel had a priority, and that was God first, Yahweh first, godly principles, and that was his priority. And so he had problems with, he knew that he didn't want to eat the foods that they were suggesting or pray the way they were praying. He was like, that's not my priority. I have spiritual priorities, and that goes in direct contrast to my priority, which is a great place to pause. And this one's going to get, well, you just might not like it. But the truth is if your workplace is giving and downloading ungodly principles that you're like, hold on, that doesn't add up to the godly priority. I would think that you need to say something, do something, that you're in that spot, not to be quiet about it, but to raise a hand and go, actually, in loving, not nasty, mean, gross ways, but going, hold on, actually, I don't agree with that. Actually, that's not where I'm coming from on it. When we start doing that, then we're the light in the world. We are doing what we're supposed to be as followers of Jesus. We're spreading the good news as long as it's out of love. And so if your workplace is downloading information or asking you to do things, you're like, whoa. it'll give you a great indicator of your where God is in your priorities. And I'm not saying you're going to immediately know exactly what to say in that given moment. It might take a while. It could be months. You figure out how to address it and speak to it. But we have Daniel here who's like by this king who the ramifications of him standing up saying, "Oh, I got a problem with this," is death. It's not like you got to go find a new job, Daniel. It's like, no, you don't do this, we kill you kind of deal. And Daniel has issues with what's being put down, the decree, the mandates coming down. He says, hold on. What's the biggest concern here? I wrote it like this in the Daniel story. Daniel identifies the official's chief concern, the biggest concern. He went back and proposed a test to him, saying here, and you can find it in Daniel chapter, the same place where chapter 1, verse 5, Daniel goes back to him and says, okay, what if I only do vegetables instead of the choice wine and the meat that your king is saying? What if we do this? Let's put this test. And since performance rather than diet was the real issue, they were looking for an outcome. They wanted better-looking men, stronger men, wiser men. He figured the thing to do was to challenge the king's official by synchronizing his performance or scrutinizing his performance. And so he proposes, hey, let's eat this, and I think the outcome's going to be better than you think. Saw the chief concern of the mandate and spoke to it. And then I love the line in the story, now God. It's a now God moment. Like we always should be looking for now God. We do the right thing and let God control the outcome. Set our godly priorities and let God have the outcome. And then watch God bless, show up and show off. And here, Daniel, if you need to read this whole story, it'd be wonderful. You'd enjoy it. But he's sharper than the rest of the kids. He's better looking than the rest of the bunch. And he stands out and he gets promoted to one of the top positions in the kingdom for 4 different kings. That's how much God took Daniel, because Daniel stood up for a godly principle or priority principle, yes, and he blessed it. I'm not saying that's how it's always going to work, but I just think when we have godly principles, it's a great way to start our New Year goals. So start with what are your godly principles, and then what are your fitness principles and things of that. Next week, we're going to come back and talk about goal setting and all those things. This is part 1 of a couple week series. It's going to be pretty fun to continue to discuss this because we want you guys to become the people that you feel God's calling you to be, because we always talk about here at Unlock Church, we partner with people to unlock their God-given greatness. So I hope today made sense. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's giving you a bit of a direction to go to wherever you're watching. If you're a watch party today, or you're in Hawaii watching, you're in the U.S. or some other country, thank you so much for being with us. We're about to wrap up. Holly's going to tell you how you can give, and before she tells you how to give, Lily's going to tell you why we even do this. So Lil, why do we have a moment at the end of Unlock Church online to give people an opportunity to give the resources?
Here at Unlock Church, we believe that the Bible is 100% truth. It's God's word. God breathed it. He inspired it. It's everything that he is, and inside of that word, he asks us to be obedient with our resources. I was having a conversation with one of my great friends recently, and she learned where the concept of the tithe came from, all the way in Genesis, the beginning of the Bible. So if you want to search that out, you can. But God asks us to give a portion of our resources back to the church, back to him, and allows him to use it for what he wants. And that's exactly how we pray through the resources that come through. How does God want us to use it? And how can we continue to reach people past just where we live locally to places like Austria and Hawaii? So cool that you guys are here with us today. We're going to continue to be faithful with the resources that come in so we can continue to do things like this and even more. We've got lots of ideas under our sleeves for 2022 and beyond, so we are just getting started.
And Holly, how can they give?
We make it super simple for you. You can text UNLOCK to the number 77977, and it'll walk you through the steps there. Or you can go to unlockchurch.com/give, and it'll walk you through on there. Super simple for you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're going to pray, and then we have one last kind of bonus feature that's really just, we're going to share a behind-the-scenes moment out of our Christmas Eve service. because I just think it was hilarious, and so many of you had no idea it was happening. So let's pray real quick. Jesus, we thank you for everybody watching, our first-time guests, and those that are regulars, those that are watching in watch parties. I just ask that the conversations today would be very sticky, and we'd walk out really thinking through the lens of principles. What are my principles when it comes to family? What are my principles when it comes to my job? What are my principles when it comes to our relationship with you? And we would set these principles in motion and then go back and go out of my principle with God. I want to be closer to, then here's my goals. Fitness, these are my principles. I want to just be fit. I want to be an average athlete and make the goal. Whatever those are, may we be led by you. Jesus, we absolutely love you. Thank you for everyone's generosity and their love for what you're doing here. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Honestly, thank you for everybody watching. We've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it at your watch parties where you've been pausing and having conversations. This is a fun conversation because so many people have different ways of setting goals and priorities. Now, if we can go back to one of the pictures from our Christmas Eve service that just took place 2 days ago. It was such a fun event.
It was so fun.
And Lily and I were emceeing it. I'm in the middle with the red hat on. Lily, at this point, I would believe,
I think I was sitting down.
sitting in the front row. And then at one point, we sang a song, Noel.
We did. Oh.
You Noel, right? Like, Holly, can you sing us a couple lines from Noel?
Noel.
Okay, so then,
No.
it's people, we need your help on this one. What does Noel mean? Because I lean over to Lily during the song, go to Lily, what's Noel mean? And she's like, I think Christmas. I said, so we're singing Christmas.
Christmas.
That's what we're singing? Like,
And
and then Lily looks it up, and you look it up, and it was what?
No. Okay, here's what happened.
Here's what happened.
Here's what happened. They're singing the song Noel. Scott looks over at me and is like, hey, what does Noel mean? And I look at him and I'm like, I have no clue. And I just knew I had heard it over the Christmas experience all of my life. And I was like, I don't know what this means. I'll Google it. And he was like, I don't know what it means either. So I Google it. I was like, hey, it means Christmas. And he was like, so we're just singing Christmas over and over again. And then
So then I
And
go,
then-
hold on, no, you don't get to set it up. You don't get to set it up because you're going to set it up
It's
in
my
what?
story.
No, it's our story. I was
No.
right there with you. So then I'm like, okay, what does Christmas mean? And so then all of a sudden she comes back to me and goes, more Christ. And I'm like, how did we get there? How did we get to more Christ when she says this to me, more Christ? I'm like, because I'm about to go up front and say this in front of a large crowd outside. Hey, Christmas means more Christmas. So I was like, this is Lily. I need some like qualifications to this. What?
This
And
is
she goes,
Lily.
she goes, well, it's Spanish. Mas is more in Spanish. So and then I go to her, but Christmas is an English word. And so
Yeah, later on, like after the evening was over and I was just thinking about it, I was like, Spanish does do backwards things, but not in the same word. So I was like way off. So just pretend you never heard this.
No, if you
And
want to
we-
jump in,
we
hey,
can go.
here's the deal. I will help you, Lily. For the Noel comes from the French word Christmas, okay?
Okay.
Which comes from the Latin word birthday.
Right. I read that later on. After
You
I
didn't
was
tell me
wrong.
that. But then what
so
does
Noel
Christmas
is
mean?
Christmas birthday?
Yeah, so Noel, it means
No.
Christmas, but in Latin it's birthday. So we're singing, it must be a happy birthday song.
Yes.
what I'm-
Yes, to Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm just saying, it was a good song. Nonetheless.
I don't know if I learned anything from that.
But no one's actually helping us either. Like, are you Googling it? You have a device in front of you to Google. This is like the after
I
show.
can't move my fingers
Oh
anymore.
my goodness.
I put in the chat, more Christ makes sense standing by it.
Well,
That's
Jeff
my goal
Beal
for
says
2022.
Google says Christmas. We celebrate the first Noel.
Oh,
The first birthday of Christ.
But that technically wouldn't be the first birthday because your first birthday isn't at 0
No,
years.
it
It's at
is,
It's
it
one.
is,
your
it is.
birthday.
Oh man.
I mean, we don't
right,
say
right.
your,
I guess
you
so.
know.
But
Yeah,
here's
your
here's the deal. If
Yeah, but
you
when
play,
you say-
hold on, this is totally like tangent, but you really like we celebrate birthday when you are born, but you are really at that point around, depending when you were born, you're already 9 months old. So it's not really.
John just said that this was a brain fart and a mistake. Well, I didn't say that it was
Hey.
a brain fart or a mistake, John, but thank you.
John, thanks for joining us because you nailed it on the head.
No! I'm going with more Christ. 2022, more Christ. Those are my word.
Okay,
That's my word this
great.
year.
More Christ.
him, less of me.
Spanglish. It's Spanglish. Okay.
So much.
That's how we're going to end it. Hopefully, you guys have a splendid day after Christmas. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you back here next week and live in person at the MC Theater in Maple Grove, Minnesota. So if you're around here, come join us.
We got a special announcement next week, right, Scott?
Oh, I'm like, she just said,
She just mouthed the
she mouthed it, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard her go, let's
No,
just,
no. We'll sell it next week.
next week,
Next week we got
Next
an
week.
announcement.
it's not, I mean, it's not.
Exciting.
About the, it's not, it's an announcement, all right. It's more like we're going to tell you. We're going to inform you. An announcement is like, Jesus, the Messiah, is born. That's an announcement.
Thank God for that.
Okay.
'Cause I have grace for when I get Christmas wrong.
or brain
Yeah,
farts.
Or
Spanglish.
brain farts.
Spanglish. You just gave me
Welcome.
Spanglish, and
We
you were about to
live
let me go up on stage and say,
No.
Christmas means more
No, I
Christmas.
literally said to you, I was like, don't do anything with this information. We don't know.
No, my brain was saying,
We don't
don't do
fully know."
anything with this information. Consider the source.
Everyone has said bye in the chat like 4 times.
Yeah. Hey.
Thinking that we were done, and we haven't been done.
This is
And
a
they're like,
Minnesota
"I wanna leave."
goodbye.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
like,
it
"I wanna
is.
leave."
Thanks
It's
for
a
letting
true
me
thing.
join today.
We loved
Good to have
having
you.
So
'Kay.
fun. You and a cute little
All right.
red nose.
This one is over.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.